Arjun was an ordinary student in a small town with nothing extraordinary about him, at least not at first glance. His parents ran a modest tea stall, and every day Arjun would help them after school, serving customers, cleaning tables, and collecting coins from the wooden cash box. Despite the struggles, his parents always encouraged him to study hard. But Arjun wasn't convinced. What's the point? He thought. I'm not smart like the others. Even if I try, I'll never achieve anything big. His grades reflected this mindset, barely passing in most subjects and failing in a few. One evening, as Arjun sat in his small room with a flickering bulb, staring blankly at his math textbook, his father walked in. Arjun, why aren't you studying? His father asked. What's the use, Baba? I'm not good at studies. Even if I try, I'll never be like the top students. His father sighed and sat beside him. Come with me, he said, motioning Arjun to follow him outside. Curious but reluctant, Arjun followed his father to the backyard. There, under the pale moonlight, his father pointed to an old, rusted pump well. See this? His father began. When we first moved here, this well was dry. Everyone said it was useless. But I didn't give up. Every day I poured water into it, priming it so it could draw water from the ground. For weeks, nothing happened. But one day, water started flowing. Arjun stared at the well, unimpressed. What does this have to do with me, Baba? The well taught me a lesson, his father said, his voice steady. Effort doesn't show results right away, but that doesn't mean it's useless. You have to keep going, Arjun. You have to believe that your efforts will pay off, just like the water in this well. Arjun nodded, though his heart wasn't entirely convinced. But that night, as he lay in bed, his father's words lingered in his mind. The next morning, Arjun decided to give it a try. He started small, setting aside just 1 hour to study math. At first, the numbers on the page seemed like an indecipherable code, but he didn't stop. Slowly, he began to grasp the concepts. Encouraged by this small victory, he added another hour for science, then another for English. Weeks turned into months. His classmates mocked him at first, calling him names like bookworm and try hard, but Arjun ignored them. He was too focused on his journey. One day, his math teacher, Mr. Sharma, noticed the change. Arjun, I've seen you working hard lately. Why don't you stay after school for extra help? Arjun hesitated. Will it even make a difference, sir? Mr. Sharma smiled. Effort always makes a difference. Remember, the tallest trees grow from the tiniest seeds. Encouraged by his teacher's faith in him, Arjun stayed back after school every day. Mr. Sharma patiently explained concepts, sometimes using simple, real-life examples to make them easier to understand. Months later, the results of the midterm exams were announced. Arjun's hands trembled as he opened his report card. To his astonishment, he had scored 75% in math, a subject he had barely passed before. His overall grades had improved significantly. When he showed the report card to his parents, his mother's eyes welled up with tears of pride. His father simply smiled and said, See, the well always gives water if you keep pouring your effort into it. Encouraged by his progress, Arjun became unstoppable. He started waking up at 5 a.m. to study and used every free moment to revise. He even formed a small study group with other students who were struggling. Together, they motivated each other and shared their knowledge. As the final board exams approached, the pressure mounted. There were days when Arjun felt like giving up. But every time he felt the weight of self-doubt, he would close his eyes and picture the pump well, reminding himself that his efforts would eventually bear fruit. The day the board exam results were announced, Arjun's heart raced as he entered his roll number on the school website. When the screen displayed his result, he couldn't believe his eyes. 89%. He had not only passed, but had become one of the top scorers in his school. News of Arjun's achievements spread like wildfire. Teachers, neighbors, and even the classmates who once mocked him came to congratulate him. With his newfound confidence, Arjun decided to aim higher. He applied for a scholarship at a prestigious engineering college. During the interview, when asked about his inspiration, Arjun shared the story of the pump well and how his father's lesson on belief and persistence had changed his life. Arjun's story deeply moved the panel, and he was awarded the scholarship. Years later, he graduated as a top student and secured a job at a multinational company. But Arjun didn't stop there. He started a mentorship program for students from underprivileged backgrounds, teaching them the same lesson his father had taught him. Effort doesn't show results right away, but that doesn't mean it's useless. Believe in yourself and keep going.
Do like and subscribe this channel if you love your puppy.